Ladies and gentlemen, football fans across the Big Apple and beyond, buckle up because the New York Giants drama is just heating up, and it's got all the makings of a classic NFC East thriller. Imagine this. A veteran quarterback who's seen it all, staring down a hotshot rookie breathing down his neck after a rocky start to the season. Yeah, that's the story unfolding right now with the Giants. And trust me, it's got more twists than an Eli Manning comeback drive back in the Super Bowl days. Welcome to today's Giants Report. I'm your host, diving deep into the blue blood of New York football. If you're a die-hard Giants fan nursing that heartbreak from Week 1, or just tuning in to see how the G-Men bounce back, stick around because we've got analysis, history, and a rivalry showdown that's sure to get your blood pumping. Let's kick things off with the big news that's got everyone buzzing the shadows of MetLife Stadium. Despite a disappointing 21-6 smackdown at the hands of the Washington Commanders in their season opener, ouch, right? Head coach Brian Daboll is doubling down on his quarterback choice. That's right, folks. Russell Wilson, the grizzled vet with a Super Bowl ring from his Seattle days, will strap it on and lead the Giants into Week 2 against the dreaded Dallas Cowboys. Daboll laid it out plain and simple to media on Monday. Russ will be the starter. He made it crystal clear that you can't pin that lackluster loss solely on Wilson. The defense had its holes, the run game sputtered, and those Commanders came out firing on all cylinders. But let's be real, Wilson's debut under the New York Lights wasn't exactly the fireworks we hoped for when the Giants inked him to that 1 year, $10.5 million deal back on March 27th. Before the draft even wrapped, they named him the guy, betting on his experience to steady this young squad. Now, rewind to that opener. Wilson went 17 out of 37 for just 168 yards. That's a completion percentage hovering around 46%, and a passer rating of 59.3 that had fans groaning from the Meadowlands all the way to Times Square. No touchdown passes, folks. Not one. And he got sacked twice, losing precious yards in pocket. On the bright side, he did scramble for 44 rushing yards, showing that old Seattle mobility ain't gone yet. But the real head-scratcher? His connection with rookie sensation Malik Neighbors, the Giants' shiny new wideout who was supposed to be his go-to guy. Neighbors hauled in 5 catches on 12 targets for 71 yards. Solid, but not the explosive plays we saw in training camp. It's like they were dancing around each other out there, and in a game where the Giants couldn't muster a single touchdown drive, those missed opportunities stung. But here's where it gets juicy. Enter Jackson Dart, the fresh-faced rookie quarterback drafted 25th overall after the Giants pulled off a savvy trade-up with the Houston Texans. Whispers started swirling even before the season kicked off. Calls for Dart to step in after Wilson's shaky start. The kid beat out Jameis Winston for the backup spot in camp, and man, his college tape is electric. Dart's journey? It's the stuff of gridiron fairy tales. He spent 1 year slinging it at USC before transferring to Ole Miss, where he balled out for 3 seasons, shattering school records left and right. Career stats? A whopping 11,970 passing yards, 81 touchdowns against just 27 picks, with a 65.2% completion rate. Oh! And don't sleep on his legs. 1,541 rushing yards and 14 scores on 393 carries, averaging 3.9 yards per pop. Awards poured in. All-SEC First Team in 2024, the Connolly Trophy as Mississippi's top player, All-America Honorable Mention, Manning Award finalist. Yeah, named after that Manning family. And he capped it with MVP honors in the 2025 Gator Bowl. In his senior year alone, Dart lit up the SEC with 4,279 yards through the air, 29 touchdowns, a 69.3% completion clip, and a sky-high 180.6 passer rating. The best in the conference. He dragged Ole Miss to a 10-3 record and a Peach Bowl victory, proving he can elevate a team. So, when Wilson was asked about this threat from Dart during his chat with ESPN's Jordan Raanan on Wednesday, the vet didn't flinch. "I embrace the challenge," Wilson said, his voice steady as ever. "I don't blink, and my confidence never wavers." He even dropped that Daboll gave him the green light early, assuring him the starter gig was his, and that people were trying to make something out of nothing. Classic Russell. Cool under pressure, just like that immaculate deflection playback in Super Bowl 48 with the Seahawks. But you know what? In the cutthroat world of the NFL, especially for a rebuilding Giants team, that backup heat can light a fire. Shifting gears to the analysis desk. Because let's break this down like we're in the film room with Daboll himself. Wilson's struggles? Part of it was protection. The offensive line, still gelling with new pieces, let those Commanders pass rushers feast. Sacks kill drives, and without time, even a guy with Wilson's quick release can't magic up touchdowns. Tactically, the Giants leaned too heavy on those quick slants and checkdowns, averaging just 4.5 yards per attempt. Compare that to last season under Daniel Jones, who, before his injury woes, was pushing for deeper shots. Jones, our former franchise guy from the Eli Manning era handover, had that poise in big moments. Remember his 2 Super Bowl MVPs? But with Jones now on the sidelines nursing that neck issue, Wilson's veteran savvy was supposed to bridge the gap. Yet, against Washington's secondary, he couldn't thread the needle to Neighbors on those go routes. Neighbors, by the way, is a Louisiana kid with LSU roots. 1,000-plus yards in college, and his speed? It's like adding a Ferrari to the Giants' garage. If Wilson clicks with him, watch out. Defensively, the Giants' front 7, led by that disruptive defensive line we built, held Washington to field goals early, but couldn't stop the bleed in the second half. Brian Burns and Dexter Lawrence, they need to tee off more. And the secondary, allowing chunk plays kill momentum. Statistically, this 21-6 loss echoes some dark days. Think 2023's 40-0 embarrassment to the Eagles. But under Daboll, who's got that Buffalo pedigree from his Josh Allen days, there's hope. ESPN's Dan Orlovsky, fictional shout-out to our expert panel here, chimes in, Wilson's arm talent is still elite, but he needs to trust his feet more. Dart? The kid's a dual-threat wizard, but rushing him in week 2 will be panic mode. Give Russ the leash. Orlovsky's spot on. The Giants' strategy for Dart, per reports from Dan Graziano, is all about benchmarks. Pattern after Allen's development in Buffalo or Mahomes sitting behind Alex Smith in KC. Slow cook the rookie, let him marinate, and unleash when ready. Smart play for a team eyeing that playoff push in the loaded NFC East. Now, let's zoom out for some historical context, because you can't talk Giants without dipping into that rich legacy. The New York Giants, born in 1925 as the New York Football Giants, playing their early days at the Polo Grounds before calling Giant Stadium home from 78 to 09, and now thriving at MetLife since 2010. This franchise, it's got 8 Super Bowl appearances, 4 rings. The last 2 miracles with Eli Manning outdueling Tom Brady in 08 and 12. Eli, the Duke of Duval, silent killer from Ole Miss, just like Dart's alma mater. That era defined resilience. Underdogs upsetting the Pats, with Plaxico Burress hauling in the winners. Fast forward, and the Giants have weathered storms. From the Big Blue wrecking crew defenses of the 80s and 90s, LT and Sims owning the league, to the rebuilds post-2016. Rivalries? Oh boy, the NFC East is a bloodbath. The Cowboys? They've owned us lately, winning 15 of the last 16 meetings, with an all-time regular season edge of 77-46-2. Remember 21? Saquon Barkley, our Thunder's running back, still pounding the rock for Big Blue if he's healthy. Gashed Dallas for 100-plus yards and a win. But Dallas, with Dak Prescott slinging it and that star-studded line, has been the NFC East Kings. Saquon, by the way, Penn State Beast, 2023 Comeback Player of the Year vibes, only had 32 yards on 12 carries in Week 1. If he and Wilson sync up, the ground game could open those passing lanes. And the fans? Giants Nation is loyal to a fault. Tailgating the parking lots, chanting, JTS, suck, suck, suck. Wait, no, that's our crosstown rivals, but you get it. Blue-collar passion from Jersey to the Bronx. Culturally, the Giants embody New York grit. Think Frank Gifford calling games, or that 86 Giants squad with Phil Simms dissecting Denver. Even in pop culture, from Any Given Sunday, nods to Eli's Hangover 2 cameo. And now, with Wilson, a Pittsburgh kid who won in Seattle, flamed out a bit in Denver. It's like importing a Hollywood script to Broadway. Fictional fan quote time. Picture this interview with a lifelong Giant supporter outside MetLife. Look, Russ had a bad night, but he's got that championship DNA, says Tommy from Hoboken. Dart's the future, sure, but let's not forget Eli sat behind Warner too. Patience, baby. Spot on. Coach Daboll echoed that in a mock presser. We got a plan. Wilson's leading Dart's learning, and come Sunday, we're hunting that W. Experts like our panel's Mike Francesa, the Scooter, voice of New York sports, predict Giants cover the spread if Wilson avoids turnovers. But Dallas at home? Tough sledding. Looking ahead, this Cowboys clash in Arlington on Sunday is massive. Both teams 0-1. Dallas squeaked out a 24-20 loss to the Eagles in their opener, so they're hungry too. Betting lines have the boys as 5.5-point favorites at minus 260, under at 45.5 per ESPN BET. Implications? A win catapults the Giants back into contender talk, boosts Wilson's stock for that extension, and quiets the Dart chatter. Lose, and the rookies' bench warms up faster. Playoff path? NFC East is winnable. Eagles are beasts, but Commanders rebuilding, Cowboys beatable on the road. With neighbors emerging, Barkley rumbling, and a defense that can swarm Dak, the Giants have snagged 9-10 wins, wild card bound. Draft? If it sours, more picks to build around Dart. But folks, that's the beauty of NFL Sundays, unpredictability. The Giants have clawed back from worse. Remember 2009, down 0-3, then storming to playoffs? History says believe. So, Giants faithful, fire up those blue jerseys, stream the game, and let's roar for Big Blue. Follow us here for post-game breakdowns. And remember, in New York, we don't rebuild, we reload. This is your Giants Report. Stay passionate, stay tuned.